Protein is the most expensive macronutrient on a grocery receipt. While carbs and fats are cheap, daily protein requires much more deliberate spending. This line graph shows the protein segment expanding until it dominates a monthly budget. If you source 150 grams of protein a day through bulk chicken and whey, you're spending about $5. If you rely on convenience bars and deli meats, that daily cost jumps to $20. Over a year, that choice is worth $5,000. But simply hitting a high protein number on a tracking app doesn't guarantee results. The math of your grocery list ignores the reality of your biology. This second line illustrates the decline of human muscle mass as we age. Past age 50, many adults develop anabolic resistance. This means your body effectively ignores the muscle-building signals in your food, requiring much higher concentrations of specific nutrients to maintain the same amount of tissue. Optimizing your intake is a two-front war. You have to lower the cost of each gram at the store, while simultaneously forcing your body to recognize and use those grams for repair. To overcome that biological resistance, we have to look past total protein and focus on a specific amino acid, leucine. Leucine acts as the primary signal that tells your muscles to begin the repair process. Research on older adults identifies a specific threshold for this signal. This table compares a standard diet to the target. You need roughly 3 grams of leucine combined with 25 to 30 grams of protein in a single meal to trigger muscle synthesis. Most traditional healthy diets for seniors involve small, frequent portions, like a single egg or a cup of milk. These portions fail to reach the threshold line, meaning the repair signal is never sent. When you follow generic advice to eat 1 gram per pound of body weight without hitting this specific threshold, you end up wasting money on protein that your body simply burns as expensive fuel. Our goal is to map the cheapest foods on the market against this 3-gram leucine requirement to find the most efficient options for your budget and your age. Crossing this threshold is the only way to ensure the money you spend on groceries actually results in functional strength and stability. We'll start by plotting the absolute cheapest tier of proteins in the bottom left of our chart. Plant-based options like dried lentils and textured vegetable protein cost about 26 cents per serving. The trade-off is density. Because these have lower leucine levels, you have to consume larger volumes of food to reach the threshold required for muscle repair. In the top left, we find the standard baseline, whole eggs and chicken breast. They cost between 57 and 68 cents per serving and sit high on the leucine axis. These are popular for a reason. They provide highly bioavailable, complete amino acids at a price that beats almost any other animal source. However, relying solely on chicken and eggs has limitations. High-volume egg consumption can be a concern for those managing cholesterol, and chicken breast is digested quickly, which doesn't help with recovery during the long window of sleep. This image shows that standard baseline: chicken, beef, and grains. It's effective, but it's incomplete for someone over 50. While these foods win the pure math of cost per gram, they leave gaps in overnight muscle repair and the joint health needed for long-term independence. Most muscle repair happens overnight. For older adults, the body often runs out of available amino acids halfway through the night, causing the repair process to stall before it's finished. This is where we add cottage cheese to our chart. It occupies the upper middle section, slightly more expensive than chicken, but with a different biological function. Cottage cheese is rich in casein protein. Unlike whey or chicken, casein digests slowly, providing a steady release of amino acids for several hours while you sleep. You're paying a small premium for this timing, but the result is a significant reduction in the muscle breakdown that typically happens overnight in aging bodies. Another major barrier to building muscle is systemic inflammation. In older adults, chronic inflammation can actually block the signals that tell muscles to grow, making even a high-protein diet less effective. We plot canned sardines here in the top middle. They provide over 20 grams of protein and a high leucine count, but they also include omega-3 fatty acids that help reduce that inflammation. For those avoiding animal products, we add tofu and the ancient grain teff to the matrix. Tofu contains isoflavones that help support bone density, while teff is dense in lysine, an amino acid that supports the collagen in your joints and connective tissues. The trade-off for these choices is a change in habits. You're moving away from the convenience of a sandwich or a steak and learning to prepare foods like fermented soy or ancient grains. These foods provide specific benefits, like overnight amino acid delivery and joint support, that the standard budget cuts of meat can't match. To see results, you must consistently hit that 3-gram leucine threshold in at least 3 meals every day. We can organize these foods into 3 specific profiles based on your age and goals. Profile 1 is the volume optimizer. This is for younger adults under 50 who are primarily focused on hitting high targets at the lowest possible cost. This strategy relies on whey concentrate, bone-in chicken thighs, and dried lentils. It's the most efficient way to hit 150 grams for roughly $5. The drawback is monotony. You're eating large volumes of the same basic staples to achieve that mathematical efficiency. Profile 2 is the muscle defender, designed for those over 60 who need to prioritize recovery and overcome anabolic resistance. This plan prioritizes slow-release casein from cottage cheese, anti-inflammatory omega-3s from sardines, and the joint support found in teff. This requires more deliberate meal timing. You must ensure each of your 3 main meals reaches the leucine threshold, rather than just grazing throughout the day. Profile 3 is the plant pragmatist, for those looking to hit these clinical targets without relying on meat or high cholesterol sources. This profile utilizes extra-firm tofu, seitan, and spirulina. These are some of the most leucine-dense plant sources available. The trade-off here is tracking. Because plant sources are less leucine-dense, you have to be much more precise with your combinations to hit your targets. The best protein for you depends entirely on your metabolic age and your grocery budget. I've included a full 7-day meal plan optimized for these leucine thresholds in the description below.